So we closed the post office, and then what? Carrier pigeons, owl mail, credit card statements via smoke signals? Bring back the Pony Express. Your Amazon order should arrive in 6 to 8 weeks, assuming the horse doesn't pull a hamstring in Kansas.
The oldest known recorded use of paper for bathroom hygiene dates back to 6th century China. But most of human history, people simply used whatever nature provided rags, grass, moss, leaves, or even corn cobs. Corn cobs, really? Of all the items to pick from the horn of plenty, why not just flatten your ass for the power sander while you're at it? Then there's the classic who cleaned out the fridge? Where's my barbecue sauce? Kathleen, Jerry had takeout in there that was left over from the Nixon administration. The fridge needed a good cleaning, you nit.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.
Oh, we will not be defeated, love.
Yeah, we never thought we were going to get here. 4th of July, we
Lost
recorded.
power.
We went out to grab a couple drinks. There was some kind of lightning strike on our block, and only our street did not have power.
3 days in 90-degree heat. We didn't have power, but we still got the last show out, and this one too. So we will win.
The rock and roll one was a few days late, but we just continued pressing on with the writing of this show in the meantime.
That's right.
Until we could edit and get it up. So that one's up now, and this one is brandy new for you guys.
We'll be on time. Okay. So let's talk about stars in our eyes.
You ever notice people leaving 1-star reviews for the gas and electric company? I've always wondered, who exactly is that review for? Baltimore Gas and Electric gets 1 star. Okay, and then what? Are you going to go completely off grid? Install a wind turbine in the backyard? Hook up your dryer to a hamster wheel? Utilities companies are friggin' monopoly, and they don't care about your troubles. But some people gotta vent, and these people certainly commit to the assignment.
Example. 1 star, overpriced garbage, $582 to keep an 1,800 square foot house heated to 68 degrees. Power outages multiple times a year. More rate increases coming. Visit Baltimore, Maryland. Great people, great food. Just don't try to live there. Crappy infrastructure, government, weather, taxes, and utilities. And Inner Harbor, overrated.
I love how this review starts as a complaint about the electric bill and somehow turns into a tourism brochure written by candlelight by someone with a quill pen because they're too broke to hook up a desk lamp. Then there are the emergency updates disguised as reviews. 1 star. Yo, we don't have electricity since 12. Why y'all taking so long? This is crazy in Town and Country Boulevard. Sir, this is Google Reviews, not the outage hotline. The intern reading reviews isn't going to grab a hard hat and sprint towards a down transformer yelling, "Post haste, the man yelled us. Clearly this is a gang-related 1-star review. Get out there!"
And my favorite part is that half the reviews are posted during the actual outage. So apparently your Wi-Fi is dead, your lights are out, your refrigerator has become an expensive cooler with imminent defrost, but your phone still has just enough battery to let the internet know that you're disappointed. Now that's commitment. Here's another 1-star review from someone who apparently is ready to abolish the mail. 1 star. Crazy how we helped them with $50 million of our taxes and they still can't deliver a package on time. Why did we help them? Let's get this company closed so they can stop wasting our tax money and time. Okay, first of all, where did the 50 million come from? Did you have like the entire federal budget memorized? Or was it one of those numbers that sounds official because it ends in million?
So we closed the post office, and then what? Carrier pigeons, owl mail, credit card statements via smoke signals? Bring back the Pony Express. Your Amazon order should arrive in 6 to 8 weeks, assuming the horse doesn't pull a hamstring in Kansas. And imagine your mail carrier showing up on horseback. Whoa, easy there, girl. Let's see. Birthday card, jury summons, Geico advert. Sorry, the horse ate your electric bill. Wait, better just hold off and let Dreamcatcher do her business on the lawn. She ain't much for restraint.
People act like if we shut down the post office, some magical replacement is waiting in line. Maybe Gary's Package Service, Ezekiel's Wheelbarrow Solutions, Crazy Larry's Drone and Parcel Emporium. These one-star reviews don't solve the problem. They just accidentally pitch a reboot of the 1800s. About this one, Aberdeen Fire Department, 1 star. I'm sorry, but 18 minutes and 11 seconds seems like an awfully long time for a crew 1 street over. My living room looks like the ashtray at Leo's pool hall at this point. I'm typing this from the library. Christ, they're kicking me out. My jeans are still smoking.
1 star. Baltimore County Department of Public Works. Squealing brakes of the trash truck woke me up at 6 a.m. Yelled at them to keep it down and they dumped my garbage on the lawn. It's with the attitude. I'm taking my trash to the dump myself, now with my Toyota hatchback, which will now smell of garbage.
Excellent Jen imitation, by the way.
Okay.
All right, single line reviews. They're just like a punch to the head. I love them, right? 1 star. The car wash knocked out 3 hubcaps in the antenna. Boom. 1 star. I got a shampoo and conditioning. Then my hair turned green.
Oh my.
And finally, 1 star. We were really enjoying the zoo until the rhinoceros attacked my daughter.
That's a downer.
Yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum, there are the reviews that open up with just a couple of quick points and then go on to list 7 separate encounters, each a paragraph long. End item Q. Can anyone park the required 5 inches from the curb around here?
What about these wrong number dialers?
I mean, it's one thing to leave comments at tattoo shops, doctor's offices, where they genuinely want repeat business. But some people just don't seem to get it.
Yo, Baltimore County Courthouse. Judge gave me a $250 fine, $75 and a $45. Shit, my Bonneville can't go 45 unless I hop out and push. All right, you want to talk about our feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is with John Paradiso of the New Jersey-based death metal band Grim Legion. We have a fascinating discussion with John about the history of the band, whose roots go all the way back to the late 1980s. We get into some discussion about his long-running doom metal moniker Evoken, coming up with band names like Marcus Misery, and there's even a bit of a possessed geek out, so stay tuned for that.
I'll take full responsibility for the possessed geek out. Let's play a song. This is Found Dead.
About Hope for the Day. Hope for the Day is an important charity dedicated to suicide prevention, seeking to eliminate the highest risk factors of suicide through outreach, mental health education, and community action. Suicide is a preventable mental health crisis. The primary obstacle to suicide prevention is silence.
Many people, especially young people, fall into the trap of comparing themselves to these ridiculous influencers that come through social media feeds. The perfect couple, driving a Porsche minivan, with their perfect cheekbones and 2.5 children, all singing Firework in perfect 3-part harmony. Doesn't exist, people. Don't believe it, kiddos. This is not how life is. Everyone struggles. Everyone has pain. Everyone has french fries that get stuck in the upholstery.
If you or anyone you know has found themselves in that dark place where hope seems lost, please check out the resources in the show notes below to take advantage of Hope for the Day's resources. And always remember, it's okay not to be okay.
Quick Patreon update. All right, so I just today uploaded my review of this book, Warren Zevon's Nothing is Bad Luck. Okay, is it any good? Is it worth reading? Was it a total waste of time? Head on over to Patreon and check it out. And I am plowing through this one like nobody's business. Damn the Machine, a little bit more appropriate for this show. The story of Noise Records. We're talking Celtic Frost. We're talking Voivod. We're talking Running Wild. This is some classic stuff here. So you're going to want to get over to Patreon and check out our reviews. Okay. And speaking of French fries and the upholstery, I think it's time.
Boy.
Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
All right.
Here we go. 19 pages of notes.
Nope, just one.
Okay.
One this week.
Okay.
So, me and dead bodies always seem to make
Here we
an
go.
appearance.
Yep.
All right, number one. When divers first recovered the Antikythera mechanism from a Roman era shipwreck dating to the early 1st century BC, what did science eventually realize that it was? A. The world's oldest known mechanical computer used to predict astronomical events. B. An ancient herding instrument used for counting goats. C. An early forerunner of the printing press. Or D. A navigation device that pointed towards Rome instead of north.
The Antikythera mechanism. I'm going to say a forerunner of the printing press.
It was A. It was the world's oldest known mechanical computer. It could predict solar eclipses. It could predict the movement of
A
planets.
steampunk. That sounds like a steampunk thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was discovered in 1901, but then they just were like, oh, it's a corroded lump of bronze. Nah.
Right.
But later they found out after doing CT scans on this thing, it had 30 interlocking gears, and it revealed it could calculate those movements of the sun, move planets, even track dates of the ancient Olympic Games. Nothing this mechanically sophisticated would appear again for roughly 1,000 years, making it one of the most astonishingly technological discoveries from the ancient world.
I have to say, speaking of steampunk, Wild Wild West is a terrible movie. Terrible. Don't watch it, people. Okay. Number 2. I'm 0 for 1.
On August 20th, 1966, a young man flying his kite in the hills near Nitario discovered 2 bodies lying in the weeds. What unusual detail about the men immediately baffled investigators? A. Their bodies had been completely drained of blood except for a tiny wound between each of their toes. C. They were carrying homemade ghost traps designed to capture mysterious humming entities that later exploded. C. They were dressed in identical raincoats and wearing homemade lead eye masks. Or D. A bottle of beer and a ransom note addressed to one of their wives was found nearby, but the $500 they had withdrawn was missing.
It's beyond bizarre. God.
1966.
I'm going to say homemade ghost traps.
No, but that was partially in truth. They were wearing identical raincoats and wearing homemade lead eye masks,
What the heck's that? What's a lead eye mask?
like lead shields over their eyes.
God.
So, the bizarre case.
Where is Nitiroli? Where is that? Is it Africa or something?
That's India.
Okay.
The bizarre case known as the lead mask case. The 2 electronic technicians carried a cryptic note that read in part, 1630 be at the agreed place. 1830 ingest capsules. After effect protect metals. Await signal. No signs of violence were found, and despite decades of investigation, no one knows exactly why they died. Theories have ranged from scientific experiments and spiritual rituals to poisoning, foul play, and even UFO encounters.
Doing great so far. This is a repeat of last week. Okay. Number 3.
On a July morning in 1974, a young girl playing among the dunes in Provincetown discovered the nude, badly disfigured body of a woman whose hands were missing and who had been nearly decapitated. The victim became known as the Lady of the Dunes.
Okay.
What finally solved the mystery of her identity 48 years later? A. Her remains were exhumed in 2002, and investigators identified her through investigative genealogy using DNA from relatives. B. Horror author Joe Hill suggested she might have appeared as an extra in the 4th of July crowd scene in the movie Jaws, and studio records later confirmed her identity. C. Serial killer Hayden Clark confessed to the murder and convinced the investigators by producing detailed drawings of a handless nude woman and the crime scene. D. DNA evidence proved she had been murdered by Whitey Bulger, who had attempted to conceal her identity by removing some of her teeth.
It just gets weirder and weirder. I'm going to say the Joe Hill thing.
Well, that's partially true, but not the correct answer.
Okay.
That did in fact happen, But he thought from the, sketch they made of who she might be, he happened to be watching the movie, and he did contact the hotline and say that he thought that she was in there, but the studio didn't keep records of extras or their names.
What was the answer?
The correct answer was the most boring one. Her remains were exhumed, and they used the genetic genealogy, and they finally figured out who she was.
Oh, poo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, all those things actually happened. Serial Hayden Clark did confess to killing her, but he had the crime scene and the crime completely wrong, so they knew he was just making it up. And they did think it might have been Whitey Balder because some of her teeth had been attempted to be removed, and that was his thing, but it turned out it was not true. They think she was killed by her husband. Anyway.
Okay. Doing great. Let's go.
4. The Nazca Lines are a series of enormous geoliths in southern Peru.
Which means what? Like, what is that? Like caves or something?
No, a geolith is like a picture that can be seen from above. Think crop circles.
Okay.
Created between 500 BC and 500 AD, depicting animals, plants, and geometrical shapes. They are best appreciated from the air. How were they made? A, by building 7-foot-tall stone walls anchored in the desert sand. B, by removing the top layer of reddish-brown iron oxide-coated pebbles to expose the lighter yellow-gray soil beneath them. B, by infusing the ground with a naturally luminescent bacteria that cause the lines to glow at night. Or D, by using a network of aqueducts and pressurized hoses to erode the lines into the desert floor, which centuries of rainfall later deepened.
You say B.
Close. Oh, you said B?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Reddish.
That's correct.
Okay.
They actually moved.
That seems like technology for 500 BC.
Yeah, they actually figured out that if they removed the iron oxide coated pebbles, this stayed beneath because of the desert climate. It's basically remained mostly unchanged, but of course, modern climate changes are causing some things to happen to these. But again, speculation. Why did they make these? Were they for aliens?
Not bad considering I didn't even know what geoglyphs were.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Okay.
But it's amazing. You'll have to look them up online. All the different formations that they made and that are still visible to this day. But you can see them from like hillsides and stuff. You don't have to be in an aircraft to see them. But again, weirdness.
These people had a lot of free time. Yeah. Okay, this has been Obnoxious Trivia.
Isn't it crazy that Joe Hill actually did do that? He thought she looked
I
like
was
an extra.
shocked that that wasn't the right answer because that seems like, wait a minute, back that up. You know.
That's kind of a trick because it did actually happen.
Yeah.
The studio did not keep records. And
Right. So it could have been her.
It could have
been her, yeah. Okay, it's time for our Snaggletooth, and this one's called
Beneath, Between, and Behind. We know from snowstorms and COVID, toilet paper is one of life's bare necessities. Although humans have been washing their backsides for as long as we've existed, double roll, triple ply, and angel soft weren't always part of the bathroom vocabulary.
The oldest known recorded use of paper for bathroom hygiene dates back to 6th century China. But most of human history, people simply used whatever nature provided: rags, grass, moss, leaves, or even corn cobs. Corn cobs, really? Of all the items to pick from the horn of plenty, why not just flatten your ass with a power sander while you're at it?
If there wasn't anything handy, people just washed with water from a bucket, river, stream. Basically, you'd find your favorite set of rapids and perform what historians might call a natural bidet. Nature's spa treatment for the old sphincter. Imagine what the fish were thinking.
The Romans, however, came up with their own solution, and it didn't involve paper at all. According to many historians, they used something called a tersorium, also known by its Greek-derived name xylospongium, which sounds like an instrument used in Zappa's 1974 lineup. You expect someone to play Penguin in Bondage on it. Nope, no squeeze box. It was literally a sponge on a stick. These are reasons I love living in the modern age.
They attached a Mediterranean sea sponge to the end of a wooden rod, kind of like those long-handed back loofah scrubbers you see at the drugstore. Honestly, the design isn't terrible. The sponge is absorbent, and the stick gives you a little extra reach for those, hard-to-access neighborhoods in the undergrowth. But here's where the record scratches and somebody completely yanks the needle off the vinyl. The Terrasonium may have been, communal. I don't like touching other people's cell phones, and we're supposed to share that?
Not everyone in Rome carried around their own personal sponge on a stick. That would have been the ancient equivalent of walking around with a roll of Charmin tucked under your arm, which would have been a lot better, in my opinion. But anyway, so public latrines, bathhouses, and even places like the Colosseum kept a communal sponge available for everyone's convenience.
I mean, we don't have a problem sharing the wiper squeegee at the gas station, right? After each use, they'd rinse it in a channel of running water and sometimes dip it into a bucket of salt water or vinegar. Now, vinegar does kill some bacteria, but I think we're going to need to bring in the industrial strength stuff for repeated use. Apparently, the Romans looked at a sponge that had just completed a grand tour of several strangers' rear ends and thought, splash a little fermented apple cider on it. Good as new. How about no?
Personally, you need a gallon of industrial disinfectant, 3 rinse cycles, an autoclave, and a pre-sprinkling holy water on the thing before I'd even consider using somebody else's derriere scrub. I don't know a word that is like 10 times appalling, but whatever that word is, that applies here. That was beyond appalling.
But scrubbers are going to be huge.
It actually makes me long for some of our other Snaggletoons that were already appalling. Let's play a song. This is Slaughter of Kings. Okay, let's talk about Coffee AM, and you have some very things here, I believe,
Leave this downstairs and
for decades, and then buy more. Yeah, yeah.
panic and have to use some horrible store coffee to get through and then realize it was in the basement the entire time.
Yep.
Coffee AM is this great company out of Georgia. They have pages and pages and pages of flavors. Don't like flavors? Okay, you've got your plain fair trade, micro lot. You even got that fancy Hawaiian Kona coffee in there. They have K-cups as well as our regular, we get drip grind. You can get French press or whole beans if you're one of those bean grinders.
Or one of those decaf liking weirdos.
This happens to be, it says it's for Snaggletooth Broadcast. This is a baklava coffee. All their flavors are so good, they're never overdone.
Right.
They come in these tandem vacuum shield bags that have your name on it, so you know that it was roasted exclusively for you.
You can't beat that. Yep.
So use our link. It will save you off your first FedEx coffee to your door. You will never go back to store-bought coffee again.
Exactly. That's right. Okay. Now it's time for Bombastic Plastic.
Bombastic.
This week we're going to talk about Sadistic Intent's Resurrection EP from 1994. Now, I may have shared some of this with you before, but as a recovering victim of Catholic school, I do have some interesting theories about the whole resurrection story in the Bible. For example, all 4 Gospels talk about the night before the Last Supper. Jesus goes into the garden to pray several times, and each time he returns, the other disciples are all asleep. He's monumentally disappointed in them, but I think the subsequent conversation, which was edited out of the Bible, should be looked at. How do we know that Peter didn't retort with, "Do you have any idea how difficult tomorrow's dinner party has been to set up? Your sister-in-law, Joanna, has a gluten allergy. When she heard about the unleavened bread, she decided not to come. Plus, trying to get all 13 of us in the same room, Andrew and Philip had tickets to the chariot race that they had to cancel. Now they're out 47 shekels, and you can't imagine how much back and forth we've had with the caterer. Can't you, whip up that water into wine trick again? Maybe save us a few bucks on this grand affair?"
It's all speculation, of course, which brings us to the LA 4-piece death metal moniker Sadistic Intent, gloriously named for a line in one of my favorite Megadeth songs. They're an interesting moniker, considering they've existed since the late 80s and never put out a full-length record, just a ramshackle collection of EPs, splits, and live recordings. Resurrection is their 6th overall release, originally released in extremely limited quantities on one of the tiny Gothic Records label in 1994. The disc consists of only 6 songs, 2 of which are instrumental that bookend the release. But the 4 songs that make up the meat of the record are splendid examples of scorching, blackened death metal of the highest caliber. The album kicks off with the doomy intro Resurrection. It's trudge up Golgotha, frosted with the snaking guitar patterns reminiscent of Prime Slayer, collapsing into a squall of noise as it capsizes over itself to set up the explosive asphyxiation. This one bounds from the speakers at maximum velocity. Drummer Joel Marquez leading the band through a dizzying number of tempo changes, blasting mercilessly and grooving impeccably. Guitarist Rick Cortez and Vince Cervera take turns abusing their guitars that whinny and scream like a tattoo needle in your ear. Finally, this restless track settles into a barking mid-tempo groove to set up bassist Roy Cortez's hellish vocal wolves, painting the notion of waking up in a casket to be embalmed alive as the tempo continues to alternate doomy lurch with speeding intensity.
Conflict Within is a bona fide classic, kicking off with a ghastly gurgle and then taking off in an Angel of Death style intensity, the band riding a glorious barking riff at full speed. For such a young band with a meager catalog of demos, the production is gritty but surprisingly clear and powerful. Leads reminiscent of Prime Possessed and Cortez dropping vocal pearls like trapped inside a body I know has been torn apart, my soul floats aimlessly, afraid to go back to the start. Let's hear a little of Conflict Within. Condemned in Misery also deserves mention, uncorking a raging hard pan riff to start things off, twisted leads coming at us from every direction. The drum sound on this one is just perfect. Emphasis on brutality, thudding away delightfully like the band is all in one room together, waking the neighbors. It really comes as a shock that this band remained as obscure as it did during the 90s, as the strength of this material rivals a lot of the earache and peaceful stuff from the same era. But then again, it still comes as a shock to me that Mother Mary would pack her a chalice to catch her son spewing blood at his brutal execution. What kind of morbid planning was that? They never covered it in Catholic school, I'll say that. Let's hear Condemned in Misery. All right, you want to introduce the interview?
This was our great interview with John. Wanted to learn a lot more about Grim Legion. Also got into his other band, which we will be seeing with Ancient Death at the Metro. So really looking forward to that next weekend.
I want to do over on the Blaspheming Monikers. He got it by a technicality, I think. So we'll see. Anyway, take it away.
So loving the new album. I'm so glad it was time for Grim Legion to come back together again.
Yeah.
And bless us with some more lovely old school sounds.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I noticed your lineup pretty much has remained unchanged since 2013. So that's quite an achievement in a genre where bands go through a lot of changes. And is it this group of musicians that just clicks, or is it kind of like the way you fit together personally?
Well, Grim Legion started in like 86, 87 with Carmine, the vocalist, and had many members over the years. And I joined in like 91 for a few years. And then I stopped playing with them for a long time. And then in 2013, they started up again. And I was jealous. I was like, nobody called me. I would love to start playing with you guys again, even though I was in Evoking, doing well and like really busy with that band. I was still like just mad that nobody called me to like, you guys want to join back in? And then we found Ryan Donato, the drummer, and that's when we started writing. We recorded Unholy Resurrection in 2015, which was just a bunch of old songs that never properly got recorded. And the new record, Harbingers of Death, are actually fresh new ideas mixed with like some old riffs from back in the 80s, but pretty much it's like brand new songs. So
Yeah. I love the artwork for the new album. It's like I looked at it and I was like, earache? Earache. This is
yes,
like earache.
yes.
Yeah. Like if you told me that was like an earache album from 1989, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get away from the comic book look that
Yeah.
we had
Yeah.
on the last record. So
So would you consider yourselves a super group with you still active in Invoken and some members from Condition Critical? Would you kind of consider it a super group of the underground?
not really because it's like Grim Legion's been there before. It was pretty much formed like when two of the members were like infants. They were like
Wow.
2 or 3 years old when in '86. So it's just like finding right the right guys to make it happen again, and that's what happened. So like but super group, I wouldn't go that far. This is
It's like a
more
dirty
like
word. It's like a dirty
yeah,
word. As
it's
soon as you
like
say it, you know what I think of? I go back to it because I'm an old dude. The Firm, where it's like, oh my God, Paul Rogers and Jimmy Page. This is going to be the greatest band ever. Lame,
yeah,
lame,
yeah.
lame.
Just focus on the
Like
one thing that makes it great, and don't try to
it
mix.
ruined everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's been a few good ones. Like the Traveling Wilburys were okay.
They were
yeah. There were
not.
some good ones. There
They
was
were
some good.
not okay. Hmm. Anyway,
There's been a few, but most of them end
don't get
up
me
being
started on
like
supergroups. Usually the first album's good, and then everything else is like not good. You know, what I mean, like
Yeah.
that seems to be the supergroup way. I don't know.
I love how this album really has an old school sound with some modern updates. Was that kind of the goal from the beginning to kind of hold on to that original sound and just give it a little update?
So I hated this fucking job, as you
Yeah.
know, right? But I was such a fucking prick back in the day, young punk, and all I cared about was getting fucked up.
So did you quit eventually or what?
Well, yes, in spectacular fashion, I quit, right? So the owner was this nasty shrew of a lady. I couldn't stand her. So while I was there, like my last day, I noticed that there was a gap at the bottom of her office door, right? So on my that last day, I went in, I unraveled the fire hose, and I stuck it under her office door while she was in there. And then, oh, hi, hey.
Oh, hi. We know you're here for our amazing chat with John from Grim Legion. But just a quick aside. We do interviews like this every week on Snaggletooth Decay.
Like our great chat with Paul Speckman from Master, packed with fascinating stories covering everyone from meeting Joe Perry to Iron Maiden.
Our recent discussion with Scott Andres and Spencer Lee of the North Carolina sludge metal band Make, covering philosophy, politics, and terrible band names.
So don't forget to subscribe today so you don't miss another truly ridiculous conversation. And now, back to Grim Legion.
That's Carmine's rule. He was like, did not want it to sound modern or like too polished or too mechanical. So yeah, it's a little loose. It's a little loose and not super super tight, but it's not sloppy, of course. But it's definitely
Yeah,
going
yeah.
for like organically. Like when we tracked everything, it was I tracked with the drummer live. So like guitar track, the first rhythm guitar track, and the drums were done in one shot. Then I overdubbed the guitar leads and stuff with Randy, but for the most part, it was like captured songs are captured like this as like playing like like rehearsing. So it was good.
So, do you know the origin of Marcus Misery's name? Was that like something that he brought to the band already, or
Is there a story there?
is there a story? Yeah.
Ah man, that one I really don't know. Mark was in he was in a band. I think like maybe a year or two before I joined in '91, and everyone has like I didn't have a silly name, but not silly name, but like I
Stage
don't have.
name.
Yeah, I really
Station.
don't have one. But Mark Misery just fit. I guess it just made like Devlin Bane is Carmine's name, and everybody else is just their normal names. So
It's funny, you never know the amount of bands that are listed on Metal Archives. There's like Executioner and Grim Reaper. And when you talk to them, it's like, is it Grim Reaper? They're like, no, it's Jen.
Well, my real name is Howard Lipschitz, but I thought
yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
better, yeah.
Like I have my bass player in Evoking is Dave the Grave Wagner. So that's what he goes. That's how he signs his autograph on the records.
I have to grab a power cord. I'll be right back. One second.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. Yeah, if you could think up a name for yourself, you'd have to do something Grim Reaper adjacent.
Well, I go by John Paradoom.
Paradoom, I love
Yeah,
it.
did a Paradiso, but I never really officially put it on a record. So but like joking around and like kind of like some of my emails are John Paradoom. So
I like that one too. We just did Maryland Doomfest in June,
oh yeah,
which is a whole little different things. Yeah, we always do Maryland Death Fest and Maryland Doomfest. So, um, Death Fest is, of course, a lot bigger, but
yes,
Doomfest is kind of neat. It's kind of like everybody there is in the industry practically. So
yeah.
it's a lot of fun, and it's in this little bar up in Frederick, which thank God this year I think they had air conditioning. The last 2 years I didn't think they had it. It was crazy.
And this bar can handle the low end freak. I can imagine like a dedicated Doom festival would be like so much low end.
Oh yeah.
It would be like knocking glasses off the table.
It's crazy. I mean, you
Yeah,
feel like if you put your beer down, it's gonna rattle right off the
yeah,
bar.
exactly.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, they had some good ones. The headliner was the Obsessed this year, so we were pretty
Uh,
stoked.
Beautiful. That's
Yeah.
great. They're awesome. It's like our version of Black Sabbath for us, like these
Oh
guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's just like, and he still looks great. I guess the Cherokee in him, it just still
Yeah.
looks fabulous.
Yeah. Full head, like hair, like I
Yeah.
can't even see any scalp at all. It's just like hair everywhere. God
We
bless
always
him.
said death metal ages very well. Like you have a lot of older performers at Maryland Death Fest, and now they're just tall and skinny and gray hair, and they look like Gandalf or some
Yeah.
wizard about so. Do you get it? Okay. Just talking about the aging of death metal.
Oh gosh, like Martin from Asphyx, he looks so great. Like he's
Yeah.
aging so gracefully, like yeah, totally.
I met him at the last when we played in 2025. He was walking around. It was amazing.
He's a legend.
Yes.
I love that there's so many classic symbols of death across folklore. Banshees, Grim Reapers, Hellhounds, Ravens, even owls and buzzards have been known to be omens. In your opinion, what is kind of the creepiest death omen to you, or maybe that you've seen?
Hmm. Well, it's going to sound cliche, but like a hooded menace type of. That's like I guess like a monk type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's always creepy.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
We're watching this one show. It was what was it, Sandman, and they
Yeah.
have all these different characters. They actually made the Grim Reaper a woman. I've never known a show to do that before.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
I guess it's like a what is it, positive affirmation or something. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, that's a woman.
I was always a big fan of the Monty Python Meaning of Life Grim Reaper when he says, when he says a Grim Reaper, and they go, that's about all he says. Hardly surprising in this weather. Nice.
That's classic, man.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
I just thought buzzards are creepy as hell. There's this one place on a highway, and if you make that bend, there's always a bunch of those ugly ones sitting on. They must nest there on the lights, and I'm like, oh, what are they eating? God.
Yeah.
And then we had another situation where my dad had to help me bury a cat who died in the winter, and he didn't do it very well. And then my kids found the vultures in our backyard had
Ooh,
Giving him the highest
You
like
gotta
karma.
you gotta measure 12 inches, 16 inches down. You gotta
right.
do it, right? You gotta do the due diligence, right? Yeah. Uh,
So,
it's pretty dark.
did your kids handle it okay?
Yeah, because I explained to him that
Okay.
that was in Hindu. That's the best thing that can happen to you. You're the highest karma now.
Such bullshit. Such amazingly bullshit. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So I woke up like when I was in my early 30s. I woke up one morning, it was like a Tuesday morning, and the dog had died, and the kids had to be on the bus in less than an hour. So I
Oh,
had
man.
to get rid of the corpse in that time. And I did it somehow. Like I found a shovel and I got it done, and they never knew. To this day, they don't know, but
Wow.
that was a very stressful morning. Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't like wintertime, it was
Oh
summer.
God.
So the earth
Cool.
was soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Mm.
those are the things like when you're a parent where it's like other responsibilities as
Yeah.
needed. Like that's yeah.
I found the cat got hit by a car, and I thought it was my cat. It was the same color,
Yeah.
and I had gone to work, and I thought I had left the door open a crack, and it got out, and I didn't know what. I was like, "Holy shit!" I thought, how am I going to explain this to my daughter? She's going to kill me. And I was like devastated, but that wasn't my cat. But like, I had to like use a shovel. I couldn't leave it in the middle of the street and watch
Right,
it
right.
like, because I know like every time a car would go by, I'm like, I couldn't even like I couldn't
Yeah.
take it. And here I am playing death metal, but like that shit tore me apart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Get it up,
No,
get it
it's
off the
real, yeah.
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 Yeah, death metal is actually pretty good for grave digging.
Yeah.
We have unfortunately we have some aging animals. I think we have three of them now out back.
Yeah, listening to death metal while you're digging a grave is a very cathartic experience, actually.
But I haven't dug a grave yet, but oh man.
So when writing songs, do you usually begin with a riff, a lyrical concept, a hook, or does it kind of is there always different jumping off points?
It's always the riff, man. For me, it's always I would come up with something on my own, or like we could be jamming. We could be like practicing songs that are already written, and then like I'll just like let me just play this. Let me hear something, and then like the drummer will come in, and so most of the time it's the music first. So riffs, then lyrics come later. I never was handed lyrics and said write a song for me. And I never like had that done. So
Yeah.
How do you save them? Do you save them by recording them or saving them in your phone or
back in the day, it was Radio Shack cassette
yeah?
player with the two input two inputs for mics left and right.
Yeah.
I used to carry that around all the time, and then as soon as the iPhone came out, I'm a late bloomer though. I didn't get an iPhone until 2018. I know it sounds crazy, but so then I discovered the memo thing on his phone, and that was it. So most of the time, it's on my phone. So
I loved Radio Shack. How great was Radio Shack?
yeah,
My
it was
God.
amazing.
I mean, speaker wires,
I
speakers,
still have the receiver.
LEDs.
I have
Yeah, I
my
mean,
Optimus receiver still. It
yeah,
still
yeah.
works.
It was the best store ever. When they went out of business, I cried. I was just like, oh my God. Because I was like a total electronics geek. Like I bought so much shit from them. It was
Yeah,
great. Like, and
right.
they never really, I mean, I know there's like, online stuff, but it's not the same as the Radio Shack. Like the Radio Shack catalog would come in the mail and it was like a big deal. Like I would be like, okay, I'm going to spend some time with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
So when recording this album, were there any last minute changes during the recordings of Harbingers of Death or songs kind of reworked later, or did it go off pretty smoothly?
Now we worked on this record for like 5 years, like just crafting the songs, and there was like a lapse in interest. Really, it was like people started. I was doing my thing, Ryan was doing his thing, and it just like kind of like we just went our separate ways. But I had these songs always recorded on a cassette somewhere, and I never let them die. So like I was like I pushed to get it. I pushed everyone to get together to at least get it recorded. So like it was a shame. I was like, to me, it was like a shame for no one to hear the shit. And I just pushed it to get like, let's get together, let's get it tight, and let's at least get it recorded. Then you can go fuck off. Yeah,
Right. You were the Reggie Jackson. You were the straw that stirs the drink, right?
yeah,
That's
yes.
what you were. Yeah. Hello, right? Yeah.
And that was it. Then my friend Mike Pellegrino, he plays in a band called Enrage. It's a Staten Island hardcore band. He has like a home studio. That's where we recorded everything there. So
Yeah.
Did it feel like you had more control recording it kind of on your own as far as someone else taking the reins?
yes, 100%. And it was like there's no producer, there's no like, and no one suggesting anything really. Like the songs were like how they were, but like they are controlled by like Carmine, the singer. He's like the father. He's the man of the band. So
Right, right.
like evoking songs are like 9 to 10 minutes long. He doesn't want them more than like 3 minutes, Carmine. So like everything is short and sweet, right to the point.
No.
And it's totally different for me because like Evoking's like a funeral doom band, over an hour long for the record with 7 songs. Grim Legion like 10 songs in 30 minutes. So it's a big difference, but it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun for me.
Yeah, I really, did you ever have a song that you were writing that you were like, man, this is too long. You just have to cut pieces out or
Yeah, there was I had written a couple of riffs that had some clean guitar in it, and Carmine was like, I don't know about that. So like, yeah, there was like, I was trying to put a little bit of different flavor in there, but he likes it like straightforward and right to the point. So, and that's how the record pretty much is like. And do you guys feel that way? Like it's like doesn't let up. It's just like straight through, like
Yeah. Yeah.
nonstop.
But I do think you have the right to write a 9-minute song if you want to. I mean, just
I
because
say that.
he's in
I
the
say
other
that
band
for
doesn't mean
Evoking.
that you can't write, you can't write some kind of epic about, some sort of Norwegian battle or something. I mean, you have that right.
Yeah.
yeah, I do like the way it really rips though. There's no like long piano intros. There's no, opus moments. It's just like bam, hit you in the
Opeth
face, get out.
Opeth moments, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is kind of true the way it should be. Like one of my favorite tracks was Mutilation Scream. And even that you have that little kind of is that a sample of a horror movie at the beginning? I couldn't figure out which
Yeah.
one
So
where the lady's screaming.
I think it's from I'm not sure the guy's name. Carmine, of course, he's the one that put that in there, but I think the actor is from, of course, you remember Rocky.
Oh yeah.
You remember his mafia boss that he would like the actor that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like in
yeah, yeah.
charge of Rocky, like, and then he ended up
Yeah, right.
like
Yeah.
he was
He's
in
like,
some
cut off the guy's fingers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was like he's like a slasher, like 70s slasher horror movie actor,
Okay.
or he directed the movie, so it's from one of his films. I
Okay.
couldn't tell you what it is because
See, I didn't even know that. Okay. I didn't know
I
that
never
that guy
asked
even had a
Carmine
career
like,
outside of Rocky. Okay.
yeah, I never really asked Carmine like, what's this from? He just like told Mike to put it before the song. That was it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good because it's just like a little like flavoring in there, but it's not this big thing. It just kind of gives it a little atmosphere. It works.
I was hoping that it wasn't gonna be too like what's that band that they always have like they're like everything's a horror movie theme. Um, the hell is the name of that
The
band?
Black Dahlia.
No, they're like they're from the 80s, early 90s. No, not Massacre. One of those
Mortician?
Mortician, yes, yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they always had those intros. I was like, I hope nobody thinks that we're trying to copy that shit.
Every album has like 32 songs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
Hmm.
always like some kind of theme from a horror movie.
Also, I really love the Planet of the Dead. It's an absolutely crushing low end grind. Um, what do you use? Is it tuning or pedals to achieve that sound?
That's we tuned down to
Wow.
B standard. So there's no like 7 string guitars like old school. There's like 6 string guitars set up for B. And we actually like, I feel cheesy saying this, but we used everything was computer. Like there was no real amps because we did everything at Mike's house, and that's how he records.
So it's like plugins and stuff.
Plugins, yeah. And like
Yeah.
and then like the thing that I think saved it was mastered by Ron Thal, Bumblefoot Thal, and he put some kind of like he knew exactly what we were going for, so he put that mastering over it, which made it sound just like that's what really did the trick. Because before
Mm.
that mastering, it was kind of like a little dull and like flat, a little flat sounding, and it just like made it like much bigger. So
Yeah.
Oh, now it's razor sharp.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, on that one, the layered vocals are absolutely diabolical and really add to the song's atmosphere. Are those multiple members of the band adding things in, or did you kind of computer generate the voices?
That's Carmine and myself. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And what's crazy is like it's a little off time, so like it kind of made it like a little like weird sounding, but like you said, like it's like it's very effective because we weren't too concerned with like being like surgically like when we said Planet of the Dead, it was like wasn't
Right.
like
Right.
exactly on with each other, so like just a
Yeah.
little bit off, but it made it sound like manical. I think. Exactly. Thank you. Thanks for noticing that.
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. And also the guitar solo on that one, it really stood out to me. It's instead of going for like pure speed, it's a slow burning shred that sounds like it's crying and wailing. It's
Oh,
so,
thank you.
it kind of matches the whole theme and
I
everything.
prefer howling.
Howling, howling.
Howling. Yeah. Like Priest Beyond the Realms of Death. That's the ultimate howling solo. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
thank
it's the
you.
best. The best.
I did the first part, first half, and Randy did the ending.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm more of a like I kind of follow the rhythm a little more than like trying. I'm not too much of a shredder.
Yeah.
So,
You want to feel
yeah,
every
feel and
note.
melody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kind of fits the whole mood too. Did you think about kind of like the kind of the way it was going to go into the song as far as like doing that kind of slower build, or did you kind of just go off instinct?
Kind of like I have to rehearse my leads at home. I can't. I'm not really can't just like bang them out. I gotta like work on them a little bit, especially when like the rhythm isn't like in a certain key, because it's like it goes from a B to like a D sharp and then down to a like a B sharp. So like it's hard to lead over that and be in key. So I'm just kind of following the rhythm a little bit, and it just I guess it just works out that way.
Yeah.
It's like the
There
only
we
thing I
go.
know how to do.
We felt so bad. One of our friends at Doomfest, he plays in two different bands, and the one band, his bass string broke. And all of a sudden he was like, "Does anybody have a bass tuned to B?" And like everybody was just
Oh, and
bloody
it was like a
on stage.
5 string tune. Yeah, it's a special tuning. I was like, dude, you're never gonna get that. Come on, you know.
And he didn't get it
We
right.
happened to be here. I mean, come on.
Man.
Sorry, bummer. You
But
know.
we kept teasing.
So he just had to sing.
Yeah,
You know.
like he would add more things to it with 5 strings and this.
Does anyone happen to have like a 7 string guitar that's tuned to C sharp? Or I'll make a diagram of the tuning. You know, come on. You know, like
We made fun of him after, but we still bought him a beer, so you know.
yeah. He's a good guy, right? Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, you want to play like certain things. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, another favorite was Seraphim. There's not enough Seraphins in this world today, but I love the idea of angels decaying. I love that you kind of went with blistering blast beats on that one, but it never loses that groovy feel. How do you strike that balance between all-out aggression and still keeping rhythm in there?
That's a lot of believe it or not, like early hardcore influence on Carmine's behalf. And like because that was a mix of like a new ideas and like old riffs that he kind of like had in other songs, but like he just like would take them out and use them and just mix and match, create new songs. Like you might hear that riff like from something from like 87, 88, like an old demo track. You might hear part of the riff, but then it was like mixed in with something I wrote. And yeah, he likes having those kind of breakdowns in the songs, but not like the silly like new breakdowns, where what I'm talking about, the modern breakdowns.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, he
right.
gets to be Sabbath, and you have to be his minor threat. That's how
Yeah,
that works out. Yeah. Right.
yeah.
But no straight edge. No straight edge. Yeah.
No, no. If that's what you want to do, fine with me, but not me.
Yeah, for many people, new metal is a bad word. It seems like these days, but not all, but some people really poo-poo it. So like you were saying with old tracks, I noticed Undead and Buried and Suicide Salvation go back to a 1990 demo that isn't on Spotify. So when you had to revisit those, did you kind of have to totally take them back apart or just kind of keep the best ideas together?
Well, it was like again like new riffs added to old riffs. Like those songs exist. There's riffs. Some if you listen to the demo tracks, you'll hear part of the song, but then we just added like new opening riffs, and then like just added different things to it. So it's like a mix of like I said, like the old stuff from Carmine's writing, and then stuff that Randy and I came up with. Like Randy, he did the riff in Found Dead, the beginning riffs, all Randy. But the funny thing is, he wrote it like where he's picking really fast, and I couldn't do it. I could do it like after he comes in, but he wasn't there to record that day, so I just played it straight, like down there, down there. I just did it simple because I couldn't do
Yeah.
it as fast as him, and it just worked out. It's like it comes in fast after the drums hit, but I think it worked out good.
No, it turned out great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Undead and Buried sounds like you're having the worst day ever. Like, God, first I'm undead, now I'm buried.
Yeah, there's
Who's
a,
your
there's a lot
favorite
of dead references on this record.
who's your favorite kind of undead character? Would it be like zombies from The Walking Dead or Dracula or
Ooh,
the Evil Dead?
wow, so many good ones. I would have to say, I think Evil Dead takes it for me. It's that movie when she came out of the cellar, or
Oh,
like
the
when she turns
cellar
around with
scene.
with Ace of Spades and
Crazy. Yeah.
I was like, what was I like, 18 years old, maybe 17?
Yeah, I think Lemmy made like 18 bucks on that soundtrack. Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't. He was on. Lemmy did that soundtrack for real. Motorhead.
No, I was just joking.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
okay.
an Ace of Spades, huh?
You got me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you got me. You got me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably like my one of my favorites. Even though it's a little it's humorous too. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. It strikes that balance between the horrific and the funny. It's
Like it's
crazy.
got Tarantino level violence and like Disney Channel like
yes.
humor. I'm like, how do you put that
Yeah.
together? That's an awesome
It was
idea.
so nuts. My friend Joey back in the day, he made a video with the band Possessed, The Exorcist, and he put it to Evil Dead. Like the drive up to the
Yeah.
cabin was the intro, and then like as soon as the song came in, like she turns around with her face with her eyes bulging out, and
All right. All right. So tell me, what's the first death metal album? Is it Beyond? Is it Seven Churches or is it the first Death album?
I
Scream Bloody Gore.
know. Hmm. Is Celtic Frost you consider Celtic Frost like Morbid Tales death metal,
Is it? Is it?
Emperor's Return.
It's
So I would
almost like
say
it's almost like goth metal.
I would
I don't
say
know. I mean, I don't know.
I think Seven Churches. I think Seven Churches might be the first one.
Fucking amazing. Fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
I saw them at CBGB's with Death Angel. I mean, not Death Angel, Dark Angel. Sorry,
Dark. Oh wow, it's even better.
at
Wow. Yeah.
CBGB's, and I was like, I wasn't driving yet, 16. And we took the
So you
train.
had to get a ride there.
No, we took the train. We took the train. We
Took the train.
made it to Manhattan. Took the train
Oh
down.
my gosh. You must be close to my age. Like I saw Hallows Eve and Cryptic Slaughter at a teen center in Maryland,
Oh
like
my
when I was
God,
15. Yeah, so
I fucking
really old
love Cryptic
school.
Slaughter. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy good. Yeah. But I
yeah.
mean, like,
I'm 56.
people say that like Seven Churches is all, was it Randy Burns? But
Yeah,
I mean, Possessed, they don't have any bad records. Like every record is great. Even when he was in the wheelchair, they're all great. So how
yeah.
can you say that band, was a producer band? It doesn't make sense, you know?
Uh, they had those insane riffs that like Morbid Angel totally like capped.
Yeah,
You
totally.
know,
Totally. Yes,
but
absolutely. Yeah.
like the pentagram, it's just like
Holy
yeah,
hell. Yeah,
it's
crazy.
crazy,
Yeah,
crazy
totally.
riffs. And Eyes of Horror, I love too.
Produced by Joe Satriani.
Yeah,
Yeah.
How could you go wrong with that?
Yeah.
On this album, I really like the trudging feel of Slaughter of Kings. It feels like a little bit of your Doom influence slipped in there, but it builds with all those shifts in tempo. Lyrically, it feels like a fall from grace with that kingdom laid to waste. Was it inspired by any specific historical king or assassination, or is it more the broader concept of just power collapsing upon itself?
I didn't write the lyrics, but I would think Carmine would answer this better. But I would think maybe what you just said, the latter. Like,
Power collapsing upon
yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah. That's what I think.
So another favorite was Sentenced to Oblivion. It really stood out, and I was thinking that would have a great live impact. It just seems very mosh pit inducing to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Are you planning on taking this live? And if so, what song do you think gets the biggest response?
We do want to play live. You guys need me to put a light on in the back of me, or
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
um, yeah, that's one song that could be open the pit the most, maybe. Yeah, I would think so. Unless Planet of the Dead, like people just like that slow, like grinding stuff. But yeah, we definitely want to play live sometime, some point.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
All right, so we play a game on the show. The game is called Blaspheming Monikers, okay? And here's how it works. All right. So I have on this envelope, I have 5 band names in front of me. One of them is fake, not a real band.
Okay.
So I'm going to read these off to you, and you tell me which one you think is not a real band, okay?
Okay.
We'll just keep going until either you get it right or we run out of bands, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, Serpent Church. Number 2, Alien Death Church. Number 3, Pagan Church. Number 4, Under the Church. Or number 5, Mega Church. Which one sounds fake?
Pigs in the church.
Which one?
Pig in the church.
Oh my God, look at you right out of the blocks. Absolutely. Ding, ding, ding. Wow. Yeah, you know your metal. Very good. Yeah, because Pagan Church, it's kind of a contradiction, right? Yeah.
And it's kind of, like Pig Destroyer is a band, and like Pig in the Church. I don't
I could see it on the patch, though. I could see it,
know. Maybe
Yeah.
nothing is like off limits nowadays.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Especially like after like I wrestled the bear once.
Right.
Like
Oh
bands like
gosh.
that like started coming out, and I'm like, okay, I guess anything goes now. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Something with Kevin Bacon, something like that. One of the songs.
Oh yeah.
I have a 25-year-old daughter. She's into like she's
Nick.
into metal.
So like we're like we were talking about Maryland Death Fest, there seems to be a huge resurgence of old death metal over the last decade. What do you think the younger fans are embracing this classic genre so much again?
Because it's fucking awesome. Basically, it's like it just doesn't like I think 80s metal, like you can tell like I was trying to resurrect one of my bands from high school called Obsequial, and I found I have a cassette that I made from like 86, 87, and I was trying to write the songs just re-record these songs just for my own listening. And like I can tell like the riffs or everything was like, you know how Iron Maiden always played, like everything was like the trooper was always in the same position as like, Run to the Hills, and everything was like in that style. And I
Right.
think that the 90s death metal stuff isn't so much like in a corner that way. Because like 80s thrash, like Destruction and Creator, like the early stuff, I like power metal stuff. Like it would, I don't know. It's like kind of like what are you saying? Like exactly like the 90s death metal? You saying like a lot of kids are
Well, like
embracing?
in the 80s, everything was standard tuning,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And in the 90s was when we started to get experimental with tunings. Yeah.
right, right.
But it seems
It
like
is,
that original style seems to draw the most more younger fans.
yeah. I would think so. I guess it's just like I don't know how to explain it, but just good shit's just good shit. That's the
Or like
only way I can
if you had
say
to
it.
write an album in standard, could you do it?
Yeah, like I was explaining to you this a second ago. Like I'm trying to re-record some old songs I have, and it was tuned to 440E,
Yeah.
and at the time we were worshiping like destruction, like German thrash,
Yeah,
more
yeah,
than
yeah.
like Metallica and Anthrax. It's more like the Creator, Destruction, Sodom stuff, and Sepultura. Also, I was worshiping that
Mhm.
stuff.
And you gotta get a singer that can sing over that though. You know what I mean? That's the
I
thing, you
was doing
know.
it. I was doing it.
That's great.
I was
That's great.
doing the vocals back then. Like I remember when I first recorded with Evoking, like I was totally like idolizing Maxim Sepultura. And I came out of the vocal booth for the first take, and like the two guys, Nick and Vinny, they weren't looking at me. Usually, when you come out from doing your vocal track, you want some kind of response, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Can you sing a little lower, like deeper?" Like I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess you don't want it." Like I was like singing like inner self, kind of like yelling like Cavallera would do, and then I had like do like a deeper growl to match the Vulcan aesthetic.
They don't
Uh,
want
I
that
it was like my first time. Yeah.
hell storms rush over the earth, bestial invasion.
Yes. But yeah. So hopefully that comes to I can get that recorded. Now I'll go to the same guy that did the Grim Legion record, so it should sound pretty good.
That's great.
So, back in the day, it looks like the band had their own label, the Bernalog records that you kind of were owned and operated. But now you're with Mike, with Horror Pain Gore Teth Productions. What does he bring as far as like taking, promotion or social media duties? And does that help you guys not have to worry about that?
Right.
100%. Yeah. He does all the promotion. He just sent me a box of CDs, so we get like 20 CDs as our deal. And yeah, he does all the production and replication of the CDs, distribution, sells them. I bought my own shirt, my own Grim Legion shirt from his website because it's like
It's a
amazing. Like
world gone mad. Yeah.
as soon as it comes out, it's like I can get a shirt like right away. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome. Yeah, he's great.
It seems like that's the way it should be because social media is so hard to navigate now. Like that's almost now what you're hiring when you're hiring a label. It's like deal with the bullshit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
because
Totally.
let us just handle the music and play live.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah. You deal with how many followers and whatever else and the fucking platforms and all that shit. Yeah, totally.
Are you planning to maybe do an album release show? It sounds like you were trying to put together some live stuff when it comes out.
That would be great. Um, we just have to, like, I'm going on tour this summer with Evoking, so it's going to be tough to do anything else at the moment. So maybe 2027 we can try to do something. You know,
Right.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you could put Grim Legion opening up for any three death metal bands from any era, who would make your dream lineup?
my God. Oof. Um, the Grim Legion opening up for Possessed,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Death, and Possessed, Death, and let's see. So I want to say Autopsy because like Chris was in Death.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Autopsies I
That's
like.
great.
Those
Yeah.
those three. Because we definitely I think we sound like Autopsy. We have Autopsy moments in Grim Legion. So I think those three bands would be like fantastic to open up for them.
I would go. I would go.
That's
Totally.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we hope to either catch you out with Invoken or this band at some point if you come to Baltimore.
And we'll be the ones that are like buying you a beer that you didn't expect.
Well, we're actually Evoking's playing in Baltimore July
When?
18th at the Metro.
Oh, we'll be there. Let's make sure we're there.
Okay.
We're
You
playing with
love the Metro.
Ancient Death and
Yeah, we
All
actually
right,
were going
we're
to
already
Metro.
going to that. We're
yeah,
already
so
going to that.
that's our show.
Yeah, we had Ancient Death on the show, a few months ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Ancient
That's
Death.
awesome. So I'll
Yeah.
meet you guys down there.
The sounds of decay!
Okay. Sounds of Decay 1 is the new album from Funebrarum, Beckoning the Void of Eternal Silence. So, what are the things in your life that beckon you? The things that know your secret cravings or desires, and they whisper in your ear, Mark, you know you want me. Personally, I can't resist a new documentary about cults, especially if it's some crazy commune that sprung up in the early 70s, rural Colorado. You see the women digging trenches in taffeta gowns in the scorching heat. Another one is that irresistible bit of swag at the merch table, right? Especially if it's one of these venues where they're not charging $70 for a t-shirt. I got one a few weeks ago, long sleeve, and it actually has the Relapse logo on the sleeves. I cannot wait to wear it when it's not 105 degrees outside. One more, Arby's horsey sauce. Not the version in the grocery store. That stuff's so lame. I mean the actual magical sauce that you get in the restaurant. There is nothing like slathering that shit all over a sandwich or curly fries to the point where you can feel your sinuses clearing. Hurts so good.
Addictive sauces and seats on the spaceship aside, we're delighted to learn of the New Jersey death metal machine Funebrarium's first new album in over 10 years, Beckoning the Void of Eternal Silence. Reformed around mainstay vocalist Daryl Kahan back in 2015, the new album features three relatively new members and drummer Charles Korn, bassist Kyle Winslow, and guitarist Phil Tugas. The album was actually completed back in 2019, but a frustrating series of delays prevented release until it finally dropped at the end of May this year. Don't be fooled by the very immortal-esque cover artwork. This is a filthy metallic belchathon that swirls Finnish-style gurglecore with witchy black metal overtones. The album consists of 10 songs, mostly in the 4 to 6 minute range, and each track packs in plenty of doomy lurches, hard pan tempo shifts, aggressive blast beats, sinister croaks, evil cackles, and even a reference to the Epic of Gilgamesh. Not enough bands cater to the ancient Mesopotamian demographic these days, you know?
There's lots of rotting, hideous figures, withered flesh, all the things that make life worth living. One interesting specimen is Through the Barren Halls of Grieving Emptiness, which erupts in a glorious buzzsaw riff, soon accompanied by all manner of death stick work from Charles Cohen. Then, right around the 1 minute mark, the track settles into pure Demolic mode. Drums blasting relentlessly, guitars drawing parallelograms, Kahan croaking his visions of decay like an ill-tempered bullfrog. What's interesting is the majestic lead approach Sam Osborne and Phil Tugas take, shifting the track from finished club-footedness to dissection-adjacent majesty. Of course, once the lead flash fades, the track sinks back into the bubbling muck once again. Let's hear a little of Through the Barren Hills of Grieving Emptiness.
Another cut that I must mention is From Rotting Burial Shrouds. Sensing a pattern here, kiddos?
Yep.
Which immediately employs another humdinger of a hard pan riff that Korn briefly takes into a thrashy pace before the whole thing tightens back up into a bash and gurgle mode once again. The complex riffing a perfect foil to the subsonic vocal approach. The track gloriously juggles the thrashy and blasting segments, creating all manner of glorious tension, and all of it backed by the grandiose lead work of Tugas and Osborne. By the way, Osborne is the nephew of the Melvins' Buzz Osborne. You know, Night Goat, Hooch, Dave Grohl jokes, that guy.
Well, there you have it, a curious juxtaposition of atonal vomiting and ice droplet lead majesty. Can't recommend this one highly enough to fans of either style, so get over to the Dementia Records site and grab a beautiful 2LP gold marble vinyl copy of this puppy before they're gone. Speaking of which, that's another highly welcomed beckoning. I can spend hours online drooling over sea smoke swirl blue vinyl pressings of classics from Amorphous to Demigod. Who cares about gas money? Stacey and I can always carpool. Let's hear from Rotting Burial Shrouds. Okay, Sons of Decay 2.
This is SZNUR with Cwel. There are black metal albums that evoke misty forest, moonlit mountaintops, forgotten ancient ruins, even weirdness with skulls in the woods. Then there's SZNUR's Cwel, an album that opens the door to a much uglier room of the human psyche. The title itself, Cwel, is Polish slang, carrying an especially degrading meaning. It conjures images of prison hierarchy, humiliation, and being forced into the lowest possible position in the brutal social pecking order. At its mildest, it's the equivalent of the infamous finger and thumb L on the forehead. At its darkest, it signifies the complete stripping away of dignity, so you better keep a tight grip on that soap on a rope. That sense of degradation is a river of darkness that runs through this album. The lyrics are drenched in bodily fluids and grotesque imagery, exploring the most repulsive corners of violence, obsession, and fear. Cwel is like a horror film translated into lyrical form, a series of disturbing scenes where humanity's ugliest impulses take center stage. Even the album cover reinforces the concept. An enraged ape towers over a fallen astronaut, creating a striking collision between progress and primal instinct. It feels like 2001: A Space Odyssey, making the full evolutionary circle, moving from mankind's leap forward towards intelligence and technology, all the way back to the future savage world of A Clockwork Orange.
I don't have a problem with a milk bar. I just want to say that. Yeah. Lyrically, imagine if black metal stumbled into a filthy alley with the Mentors. Not because SZNUR sound anything like them musically, but because they embrace that same confrontational, sleazy, offensive willingness to deliberately choose abrasive or grotesque language. Spoiler alert, some of these phrases have a deliberately uncomfortable vibe. Their nickname, the Polish Bastards of Metal, suddenly makes perfect sense. There's an unmistakable El Duce spirit lurking beneath the blast beats and dissonant riffs in this, their sixth full length. We get 7 tracks and an outro from this masked 5-piece, reeking of urban decay. Most of the songs clock in between 4 and 6 minutes, except for the opener, which slowly festers its way to nearly 8 minutes with an extended introduction. The opening track, which Google translates as I Stand and Watch as They Rape Her, wastes no time making it clear that this isn't an album chasing FM radio airplay. Lyrically, it feels like an anthem to societal collapse, conjuring Lord of the Flies levels of degeneration. It begins with streaks of corroded synthesizers warping in and out like lights being swallowed by a black hole, flanked by curious clicks and ricocheting electronic echoes. The vocals emerge as deep, muffled murmurs, as if you're hearing them with your head submerged in a bathtub. Misshapen tones and fragmented words bend and deform, occasionally sounding as though they're being played backwards for an extra dose of unease. As the intro unfolds, the smeared electronics gradually morph into a buoyant pattern of spacey computer bleeps and bloops. Around the 3-minute mark, the band kicks the bathroom door clean off its hinges as the drummer erupts in furious assault, the snare firing in a rapid semi-automatic burst while the kick drum pounds with the persistent ache of a thumb that's just met the wrong end of a hammer.
The bass growls underneath in thick rolling waves, purring like a lion that is deciding when not, as if to pounce. Meanwhile, the guitarists lock together in a grinding, undulating riffs that scrape and gnaw like gears. Hovering above the carnage are the vocals that are delivered somewhere between a bark and a snarl before exploding into shredded shrieks that sound like a werewolf halfway through a full moon transformation. The guitars briefly break from the grinding assault with an oscillating, almost hypnotic melodic figure before plunging right back into the machinery. As the song barrels towards a conclusion, the drums unleash a barrage of blast beats while the vocals multiply, overlap, and then collapse on one another like waves of panic. The final moments dissolve into what sounds like a speech sample over the roar of an angry mob, distant explosions. You know, any Tuesday night here in Baltimore. Eventually, the entire recording begins to sag and wobble, slowing like an unplugged turntable, dragging the song into a warped limp.
The title track, Cwel, has some surprisingly infectious hooks draped over a black metal backbone. Keeping the title untranslated is probably for the best because the word carries a very specific Polish ugliness that just got lost in translation. A loping groove of snarling guitars stalks over an effervescent yet thoroughly vile bass line, topped by curious high-pitched melodic chirps that sound like a mechanical songbird, crossbred with the clicking vocalizations of the Predator as he tries to figure out what Homo sapiens are. When the chorus hits, the guitars erupt in light tremolo shivers, wriggling like a locust splitting free from its exoskeleton, while the kick drums hammer away with piston-like fury, delivering a rhythmic beating that could be charged with blunt force trauma. The vocals are craggy, deeply rutted, and dripping with contempt, especially as Cwel is barked as an accusation. For the record, it's not a trendy new swear word I'd recommend adding to your vocabulary after hearing this album. Between verses, the guitars settle back into that distorted lope while the bass refuses to gather any moss, constantly pushing the song's momentum as those anxious electronic chirps flutter back in. Around the midpoint, a lone synthesizer note begins hovering in the background while the drums continue raining down in a relentless barrage. By the song's closing moments, the double bass workout has elevated your resting heartbeat by a few beats per minute, while those eerily mechanical chirps make one the final pass before disappearing into the darkness, where they'll patiently wait to soundtrack your next nightmare. Let's hear a little of Cwel.
Nai Vipodnawa, which translates to that which did not flow out or what did not come out, is my favorite track on the album. It's also one of the most disturbing lyrically. The Polish text is saturated with graphic violence and grotesque imagery, even dropping the name Karla Hamaka, the Canadian serial killer convicted for her role in the rape and murders committed along husband Paul Bernardo. It could never be said of SZNUR that there is no sex in their violence. Musically, the song comes out thrashing right from the gate. The guitars tear through rapid-fire riffs that shred and pulverize in equal measure, cycling through memorable patterns with just a bit of noodling at the end of each phrase. The drumming leans heavily on the snare, peppering the beat with crisp rolls, while the slower, punishing kick drum slams provide the song's bruising heft. As the vocals arrive, snarling with grit and sounding ready to start a bar fight, the guitars fall into a swinging, heavy groove, while the bass adds a thick, dark ballast underneath. Buried deep in the mix is a ghostly vocal whine echo that quietly amplifies the unease. That locked-in guitar and bass grooves proves catchier than cholera in Victorian England. Around the midpoint, the drums continue delivering that measured, open-handed slap across the face, while the guitars chime out a quick melodic flourish that becomes hook number 2, ensnaring you even more.
A distorted spoken word passage pushes the tension even higher, the guitars whining out a repeated lament. When the voice finally fades, the bass takes over, stalking with the slow, inevitable menace of Michael Myers. It never rushes because it doesn't have to. It knows you're not getting away. By the finale, the guitars erupt in frantic, warbling leads that sound like it's desperate to reach daylight while the bass continues its relentless pursuit. Then the song dead ends, leaving you breathless and wondering what the hell just happened. Across Cwel, SZNUR keeps circling the same poison question. Are humans really separate from their instincts, or are we just animals wearing clothes and pretending otherwise? Cwel isn't an album I'd recommend spinning at your next baby shower. It drags into the light the evil that everything polite society insists does not exist. Yet if we're being honest, isn't that the same guilty curiosity that keeps us glued to true crime documentaries and murder podcasts? The riffs groove and cling to your brain, the atmosphere pummels without mercy, and the lyrics linger long after you'd rather they crawl back into whatever nightmare they escaped from. More than once, you'll find yourself wondering what mankind is truly capable of, and why this whole world feels like it's barreling downhill in a rapidly accelerating handbasket.
Fans of early Darkthrone, Gorgoth, or Poland's Gruzia should find plenty to love here. Dust off that old pointy hood, put on your black suit, and don't be afraid to get a little dirty. By the time it's over, you may feel like you need a shower, a therapist, and possibly a background check on that sketchy neighbor. But you'll also have to admit that SZNUR is far more than a band trading in shock value. Did I mention their surprising ambition to win a Frederick Award for sung poetry? That's about as likely as Cannibal Corpse taking home a Grammy for Best Children's Album. However, they're gifted songwriters who understand the darkest horrors aren't hiding in ancient castles or moonlight forests. They're waiting right there in the human animal. Let's play a clip, that which did not flow out.
Moja szmata, na środku zawsze ktoś krzyczy, będziesz pachnie mną. Lubię spaceru na smyczy. Moja ziemia, moja studnia, czuję się dobrze, gdy nie ma tu życia. Woda pachnie mną, wystatna do picia.
Sounds of Decay 3 is the new album from Hecate Enthroned, The Corpse of a Titan, a lament long buried. A lament long buried, really? Christ, I wish the clowns in my office would bury some of their laments. Are we all going together to the restaurant? Hopefully not in Tom's van. My asthma won't survive a ride in the Potmobile. Then there's the classic, who cleaned out the fridge? Where's my barbecue sauce? Kathleen, Jerry had takeout in there that was left over from the Nixon administration. The fridge needed a good cleaning, you nit. Then, of course, there are the little handwritten signs. Please wash your dishes and use the disposable wipes because the sponge is gross. Okay, I've got 94 invoices in my queue to approve for month end, and you are lecturing us on kitchen etiquette. These are the same people whose houses are fodder for an episode of Hoarders, but they feel the need to harass the rest of us about office salmonella, which is not a thing.
Which brings us to the sixth album from a UK six-piece, the long-running symphonic black metal entity known as Hecate Enthroned. This one delivers all the goodies we've come to expect from this long-running moniker. Dramatic song titles, gorgeous artwork, lengthy songs, crunching riffs, and a distinctive air of pomp. The album consists of 9 lengthy texts, mostly spanning the 7 to 8 minute range, with heady titles like Steed of the Still Water and The Boral Monastery. Those seeking Jarboe high school style poetry need not attend here. Deathless in the Dyrad Glade takes its time, slowly emerging with a single ringing guitar over rising synth and breathy female whispers. It erupts in earnest around the 1 minute mark with an everything but the kitchen sink vibe of hammering blast, triumphant keys, 16 layers of guitar, and above it all, Joe Stamp's incomparable vocal rasp. The track slows to a mid-thrash pace, the stained glass beauty of Pete White's synths swirling clearly into view as Stamps takes off the gloves, alternating between acidic rasp and deep-throated roar. Things slow to a doomy processional pace, Stamps seething and raging over the delicious crunching guitar. Matt Holmes drum rolls, pushing the track to a fever pitch of drama until the whole thing explodes in blast beats once again. Let's play a clip. This is Deathless in the Dyrad Glade.
The final track, Into a Veil of Endless Snow, is a 7+ minute megalith of classical gas and blackened fury. Guitars laying down one main shaking riff after another, while Stamps does his best to blow a vocal O-ring. Lyrics weren't included in this promo, which is a shame because this seems to be an album loosely themed on ancient UK legends. I would really like to have had access to the lyrics. This particular track does a marvelous job of altering between mid-tempo tremolo pick crunch and dramatic synth-adorned blasts. Truth be told, with music this sweeping and grandiose, they could be reading off the menu from Arthur Treacher's and I'd still be running out and buying it. So get over to Hecate's Bandcamp page and snag either the Boreal Light Swirled vinyl or the Draconic Vision version before they're all sold out. And remember, there's going to be hell to pay the next time you gum up the print queue when you try to print out that fried tilapia recipe again. Last time, procurement was talking about ropes and torches, so be forewarned. Let's play a clip. This is Into the Veil of Endless Snow. There we go. All right. Got it done.
We survived.
Yes.
We may or may not have left out those Polish names because, oh my God. My apologies to the band. I couldn't do it.
Better to leave them out than to butcher them severely, I think. Yeah. And which is what I could feel happening, So apologies. I'm actually Polish. I wasn't even touching that with a 10-foot pole. So this has been the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Thanks to John from Grim Legion for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme by Gustav Eward of Defleshed. Sounds of Decay theme by Steve Rathbone of Lair of the Minotaur. Sounds of Decay bands reviewed this week: Hecate Enthroned, Funebrarum, and SZNUR. All content 2026, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast.
What do you think will get me through security? This new great anal brush or just the wipies? More fish, anyone?
Fuck. God damn it.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.